Oliver Stone got a Bronze Star and 2 Purple Hearts when he was in Vietnam. He saw some terrible things happen to men in the jungle. It really messed him up when he came home. Instead of just keeping quiet about it, he started making movies. The man who used to be a soldier became someone who wanted to change things. Oliver Stone's camera became his way to fight, but what he was fighting for never changed. The movies that Oliver Stone makes ask a lot of questions about people in charge, power, and what really happened. Oliver Stone was learning a lot about movies in theaters a long time before he made Platoon, which won a big award, before he made JFK, which made people think about America's past, and before he made Wall Street, which showed what was happening in that time. He looked at movies the way other people look at maps of wars. He wanted to know how pictures can show what is really going on and make people feel uneasy. The cinema was something he studied carefully because he knew that images can reveal things that are not true and make people uncomfortable. He thought that movies could be a way to expose lies and unsettle people who are too comfortable. In 1992, Sight and Sound asked Oliver Stone to name his 10 movies. Oliver Stone did not pick movies that were just fun to watch. He picked movies that taught him something. These movies showed Oliver Stone how people in power really work, how the truth can be hidden, and how movies can be made to really make you feel something and think about what's real. Oliver Stone liked movies made by people like Orson Welles and Stanley Kubrick. He liked movies about people fighting against the system on boats and movies about the end of the world that were also funny. These movies helped shape Oliver Stone's career as a movie maker. They were not movies that Oliver Stone liked. They were like a school for Oliver Stone. Number 7. The Best Years of Our Lives from 1946. This movie is about soldiers who come home and feel like they do not belong anymore. The Best Years of Our Lives shows how the best years of our lives affects people. William Wyler made The Best Years of Our Lives. It is about 3 veterans who have a hard time adjusting to life at home. One of the veterans in The Best Years of Our Lives lost his hands. Another veteran in The Best Years of Our Lives lost his confidence. The third veteran in The Best Years of Our Lives lost years that he will never get back. The year this movie was made was 1946. This is also the year Oliver Stone was born. Oliver Stone's father had just come back from Europe, where he worked with Eisenhower as a colonel on his staff. Stone grew up with the war there, then he had to fight in one himself. When he came back, he felt really scared and alone, he said so himself. The movie The Best Years of Our Lives helped him see that he was not the one who felt this way. He had dreams, he felt like he did not fit in, and he thought that people who were not in the war could never really get it. Harold Russell was in the movie. He was a person who lost his limbs, and he played himself. The way he did things was really sad and beautiful. Stone did something like this again in Born on the 4th of July. He told a story many years later. The country that sends you to war does not usually know how to welcome you home. Wyler taught Stone that the stories of veterans are a part of America's history that is not often talked about, the cost that nobody wants to think about. Veterans and their stories are a part of America's history, and this is something that Wyler and Stone want people to remember. The cost of war is something that affects veterans and their families. This is a cost that nobody wants to deal with. Veteran stories are America's buried history. Number 6. 1900 came out in 1976. This film is 2 boys who are born on the same day. One of these boys is rich. The other is poor. The movie 1900 shows how these 2 boys grow up together in the countryside of Italy. Then something changes when fascism comes to Italy. The 1900 movie is about how the boys' friendship turns into hate because of their ideas. The director of the movie 1900, Bernardo Bertolucci, made a long film that covers many years. The actors Robert De Niro and Gerard Depardieu play the roles of the 2 boys in the movie 1900. They show how the fight between poor people is very personal and painful. What happens between the 2 friends in the movie 1900 is like what happens to the country when there is a big political disaster. Stone took a good look at how this works. In the movie Platoon, Elias and Barnes are like 2 sides of a coin. They have ideas about what is right and wrong, and they are both trying to influence Chris Taylor. Bertolucci showed Stone that you can use people to show what an idea is about, and that you do not have to be far away from something to make it seem big. Stone used this idea in movies like Nixon, JFK, and Wall Street, where he told stories to show how corrupt the system is. The movie 1900 taught Stone that what happens in our lives is connected to what happens in politics. Every conspiracy starts because someone is weak. Every system keeps going because people choose to be a part of it. Stone learned that the personal stories of people like Elias and Barnes in Platoon, or the people in his movies, are what make the big issues seem more real. Two boys are born on the day. One of these boys becomes a mean person who likes to hurt others. The other boy becomes the person who gets hurt. This is a story that Oliver Stone has been telling us about for a long time. He likes to talk about the difference between the person who's in charge and the person who is not. Number 5. Raging Bull from 1980. This film is about a person who is destroying himself. Raging Bull is a movie that shows how time is running out for the character. He gets really angry. This anger hurts him. Jake LaMotta is the character, and he hurts everyone who cares about him. Then he hurts himself more. Martin Scorsese makes the violent scenes in the movie look like a dance. They are very brutal, but very precise. Robert De Niro completely changes himself for the role. He gives up his body and his mind to play the part. This is not just acting like someone, it is like he becomes that person. Raging Bull is an example of this. Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro worked together to make Raging Bull a powerful movie. Oliver Stone saw this movie. It really affected him. He went to school at New York University, where Martin Scorsese was one of his teachers. Raging Bull is an example of a movie that really gets to you. Stone came back from Vietnam. He knew something that a lot of movie makers do not know. Fighting is not about thinking. It is about how you feel. It is overwhelming. It is all about what you see and hear. Just having ideas is not enough. Movies have to make you feel something in your body. Raging Bull showed Stone that he was right about this. The way Scorsese moves the camera in Raging Bull is like the way Jake LaMotta throws punches. It is fast, it is tough. It just keeps coming. Raging Bull is a movie. Stone learned a lot from Raging Bull and from Scorsese. The black and white removes comfort, stripping the image down to bone and sweat and damage. Number 4. Dr. Strangelove. The movie Dr. Strangelove from 1964 is really something. It is about a general who does something bad and starts a nuclear war. The politicians get really scared. Then the doomsday device. It is very bad. Dr. Strangelove is a movie where everyone dies in the end. Stanley Kubrick made this movie funny even though it is about something serious. Peter Sellers is in the movie. He plays 3 different people: the president, the scientist, and the officer. Each of these people is more silly than the one. Oliver Stone learned something from Stanley Kubrick. He learned that people in charge are often crazy. The systems that are supposed to keep us safe are actually very good at hurting us. Dr. Strangelove shows us that these systems can be very dangerous. The war room in Dr. Strangelove was like a model for the worlds that Stone created. It was similar to Nixon's White House. The planning that went into Kennedy's motorcade was also like this. You can see it on Wall Street trading floors too. These are rooms where powerful men make decisions, and they think it is all completely normal. Kubrick used humor to make a point. It was more effective than just being angry. Stone did the thing. Natural-born Killers makes fun of how the media loves violence. The movie Nixon takes the president's paranoia, turns it into a sad joke. In these worlds, crazy behavior is seen as normal. People are fooled into thinking it is a sign of being competent. Dr. Strangelove and these other worlds show us that madness is often passed off as competence. Number 3. Lawrence of Arabia. Lawrence of Arabia is a movie from 1962. This movie is about Lawrence of Arabia. Lawrence of Arabia unites the tribes and fights the Turks. He becomes a legend. Then Lawrence of Arabia realizes that he is just a tool for the British. Peter O'Toole plays Lawrence of Arabia. At the start of the movie, Lawrence of Arabia is pure. He has big ideas. By the end of the movie, Lawrence of Arabia is empty inside. The director David Lean makes the desert look like an empty space. The desert is really beautiful. It is also really scary, and it can destroy you. Lawrence of Arabia is affected by the desert. Stone looked at what Lean wanted to do. He wanted to make people feel like they had to watch something for 3 hours. He wanted to make things that people would care about. Stone learned from Lawrence of Arabia how to use the outdoors to tell story. The jungle in Vietnam in the movie Platoon is so thick and scary. The empty stadiums in Any Given Sunday are so quiet and sad. The buildings and places in a movie can make you feel things. Lean made each scene look like a picture. Every image was thought out carefully. Stone studied how Lean did this. He saw that Lean's movies were like paintings, and each part of the movie was important. The way Lean used the landscape in his movies was like a character. Stone wanted to learn how to do this. He wanted to make movies that would make people feel things like Lean did. Number 2. The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2, which came out in 1972 and 1974, are really something. The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2 show us that family can be like a criminal business. In The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2, love is used to make murder seem okay. Francis Ford Coppola did something with The Godfather, and The Godfather Part 2, he changed the way we think about America. The Corleones, they are immigrants who want a life. The Godfather shows us what they have to do to get it. Michael Corleone does not want to be part of the family business. Then his father gets shot. The Godfather is about how one decision can change everything for Michael Corleone. Michael Corleone becomes the thing he said he would never be, all because of The Godfather and what happens to his family. Part 2 really makes the tragedy worse by showing how Vito becomes more powerful at the time that Michael loses his way. The movie uses timelines that happen at the same time to help us understand what is going on now by showing us what happened before. The person who made the movie, Stone, really understood how to use this way of telling a story. He did something in the movie JFK, where he jumps back and forth between different time periods. In Nixon, he uses memories to help us get to know the characters. The Godfather movie taught Stone that the way the government and big businesses work in America is a lot like how organized crime groups work. The Godfather movie showed Stone that politics and business and war are all like families that try to protect what is theirs, make sure everyone is loyal, and get rid of anyone who might be a threat to them. Number 1. Citizen Kane. Citizen Kane is a movie from 1941. Charles Foster Kane dies with a lot of money and power. He is all alone. People who write for the newspaper try to figure out what his life was about, but they find a lot of things that do not make sense. Charles Foster Kane built a company, but he lost himself in the process. Orson Welles was young, only 25 years old when he made Citizen Kane, and he changed the way movies are made. He used a way of filming called deep focus, so you can see everything that is happening at the same time. The story does not go in a line, it jumps around, so you do not always know what is real and what is not. The people telling the story are not always honest, so you are not sure what to believe. The way the movie is made is what makes it mean something. Citizen Kane is a movie that people still talk about because Orson Welles used techniques to tell the story of Charles Foster Kane. Stone really looked at Citizen Kane a lot. He thought it was very important. For him, Citizen Kane was like a guide. He thought Nixon was a lot like Kane. When people get a lot of power, they can become very unhappy. The movie about JFK uses some of the ideas as Citizen Kane, like showing things that happened before and having different people tell the story. You can never really know the truth, you can only know parts of it. Welles showed that how something looks is just as important as what it's about. Stone's way of editing his movies, using kinds of film, and making them move quickly all came from the new things that Kane did. Citizen Kane was an influence on Stone.